Hello and welcome back to Grace.Filled Homestead. I'm so excited to be back with you for another video. Typically in my videos, I'm outside showing you something, we're doing something, we're tackling projects because your girl is always doing something. And you can kind of see my nature a little bit more. But today, I just want to have a sit-down chat with you. And specifically, I'm going to be not really talking about the book, The Family Garden Plan, but what I'm going to be talking about is my revelation towards my gardening and what I just wasn't thinking about. So if you're new here, I'm a large family mama. We are a family of 7 and we live off predominantly one income. And so I began planting my seeds and I thought, okay, I have extras. I'm going to sell them at a plant sale. And when I was going through it last night, I was like, oh boy, I don't have enough for my family. So in this video, I kind of talked to you about the numbers that I realized I needed for my gardens. So now that I have those numbers, I'm going to go outside and kind of do an inventory and see how much more of everything I need to plant, as well as I'll be showing you at the end my garden plan and just talking to you about my garden spaces. So if this seems like something that you would like, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and give me hearts. It's 6 something actually in the morning. I noticed that I have not talked about what I plan to plant this year, what I plan to grow. And I mean, I think that you guys have probably seen enough of those videos, right? Because everybody might grow different varieties, but overall, we're all growing the same fruit and vegetables and herbs overall. I mean, the varieties might be different, but most people grow, tomatoes and all those things. And I don't think I'm growing anything so like, ooh, so spectacular that no one else has heard of. But what has really gotten me, and I look at this every year, is how much I underplan. That's what I want to talk about, because I have like 8, maybe like 12 or so sales of corn out there. I needed to have planted for my family 90 corns. And for cucumbers, I needed to have planted 12. And I know that I have 6 so far. I was gonna succession sow them so that I could get harvest at 2 different times, so we could just kind of eat some continually in smoothies and salads and dishes. But then also I could make some pickles, but not be making a million jars of pickles at once, but go ahead and just make pickles, some here and some here. I think breaking it up is good for me. So for my family, this is kind of like the minimum. This is not for anybody else. And the reason I'm saying this too is because I thought I was going to be able to have some extra to go to like the farm stand, like not farm stand, but like the produce stand, farm stand, flower shop, whatever. I thought I was going to have some extra stuff I could sell. And now that I'm doing the math, I'm like, Kristy, you don't have anything to sell because you don't even have enough for yourself. So that's a bummer for myself. But for grapes and elderberry for my family size, and keep in mind we are a family of 7, I need 7 grapes, 7 elderberries. As far as blackberries and blueberries, I need 12 blueberries, 12 blackberries. As far as tomatoes, I need 40 tomatoes. And now this could be, cherry, beefsteak, different types. I don't think I have any San Marzano. Sidebar, if anybody has any San Marzano seeds, tomato seeds, could you send them to my P.O. box? I'm just saying. Could you send your girl like 5? Can you just put them in an envelope, in a stamp and send them to me? 10 will be better, but 5 is great. Winter squash is set to plant 7. I want to find Blue Hubbard seeds. I don't have that, I know for a fact, and I would like Blue Hubbard. So if anybody has Blue Hubbard too. Summer squash 12. Spinach 90. Pumpkins, 4 pumpkins for my family, and 90 potatoes. I think I started 4, 8, 12, 16. I started like 16 potatoes. But that's like 1/4 of what I needed. And I will show you guys later because I actually see like some growth happening with that. Okay, sweet peppers. I need to plant 28 sweet peppers for my family. Now again, this is the minimum because you gotta think about things like salsas. They take, obviously peppers. So last year I didn't can any peppers. What I did was I cut them and I froze a lot of bags, and I literally just finished my last bag of sweet peppers and of jalapeno peppers and of onions. I didn't grow my own onions, but when I found them for a really good deal, I bought all of them, sliced them up, and then put them into Ziploc bags, and that was really a blessing. We're just running out. Hot pepper says we need 4. I have way more than that. I planted probably like 100 hot peppers. My son loves that. Okay, okra, 12 plants of that. Parsnips, 90. And peas, 150. Y'all, I did not know I needed like 150 peas. Why, when I went to the seed store, I got like 20 seeds. You know, they you can buy it by the pound. And I was like, yeah, just about 20 or something like that. And it was 20 cents for like the 20 seeds. So I thought that was great. But I got 20 and I needed 150. I don't think I knew I needed to grow 150 peas to be enough for my entire family. Like, my mind is like, what? I don't know where I got this, just a couple of this, a couple of that. Maybe because that's what I see. I see smaller families do that. One of this, two of this, three of this, four of this. I've never heard anybody say I had to plant 150 peas. So 150 peas, 90 onions, 30 lettuces. And you guys, those lettuces that we planted are about this big now. So that was 4, and we don't have 10, but probably close. So we have almost enough lettuce. Kale, definitely don't have enough kale. I think I might have 8 at the most, and it says I need 30. For garlic, it says I need to be planting 90 bulbs. And also keep in mind, when you take a look at these numbers, this is not accounting for lost, damage, like pest pressure. So really, it's a good idea to add maybe 1 or 2 more just in case of any of that stuff, and or if you want to share that 90. Eggplant, just 4 is enough. Celery, 18. 18 celeries to take care of my family, 18 stalks. 18 cauliflowers, another high number like the peas, 150 carrots to take care of my family. I have not even started planting carrots, but I still have time. We just had our last frost a week ago, and I wanted to be wise because I've had a year where I planted too soon like everybody else, and I lost so much like everybody else. And I don't have the funds to lose one crop this year. I can't even, not one. And so I would feel so horrible to lose what we don't even have because I couldn't be patient. Isn't that the gifts of the Spirit? Long suffering and patience. So I want to make sure that I'm displaying the fruits of the Spirit regardless, Anyway, it's just my own personal. Cabbages, 20 cabbages. And so I have enough cabbages. I have enough onions. I think I have enough onions. Brussels sprouts, 14. Broccoli, 30. Beets, 80. And then beans, 90. So I think I have half of the beans, but not all of the beans. And when I say beans, I'm talking about black-eyed peas. I'm talking about lentils. I'm talking about whatever else. String beans, like beans, any of those kind of beans. It says 90, so I don't know if it's 90 each variety or just 90 in total, but I am going to just increase it to the max, and I am going to have to go out there and begin to just scout out how we can map out this plan that can give me all these items, because I mean, that's a lot. Or maybe to you it's not a lot, but I've just never heard it broken down like this. And so I just wanted to come and share this with you guys. I have been starting things in the greenhouse. I have flowers, veggies, and herbs. Oh, and actually this didn't even talk anything about herbs. So I don't know how many herbs we need for our family, but I'm just planting them, especially the perennials, because they'll come back every year and we'll get as much as we can get. I have 2 pots of mint. I have thyme, I have lemongrass. I don't know if my lavender, if those seeds came up yet or not. So we're just waiting for some of those. But then I have a lot of basil. I have Thai basil, I have regular basil. So I'm super, super excited about that. So anyway, this is a really good book. I'm not affiliated. I don't get any kickback. I do have an Amazon link, but I've never linked it before. I mean, we don't even use it. I should. I know. But it's called The Family Garden Planets Grow a Year's Worth of Sustainable and Healthy Food. And this is from Melissa K. Norris of the Pioneering Today podcast. And like I said, I like the book. I mean, there's a lot of information in the book that's just helpful. She has planting your food crops, planting your garden space, choosing your plant variety and seed, getting the garden in the ground, caring for your garden, bringing in a harvest, perennials, plant one, harvest for years, herbs and edible flowers, advanced topics in conclusion. It does have, you know, some pretty pages. And she has tips from fruit trees to just like when to pick, like how do you know? So for example, filled peas. Harvest peas when pods are swollen and you can see and feel the foreign pea inside. And then peaches, change color and slightly soft to touch. So just little things like that. Peppers hot, may harvest while still green, but both sweet and hot peppers will have more flavor and spice on hot varieties when allowed to mature and change color. Twist off at the stem or use a knife. So she has these little tips for people who are just not really sure. Gives you something called the average yield. So she says, for example, let me turn the page. Let me go to cucumbers. So it says average, so it says it's like the name is cucumbers. The average plant per person is 2 to 4 plants per person. So if you have a family of 6, you can either plant 12 to 24. And so you can choose where you want to go. And you could just take that, like, okay, she said 12 to 24. How about I do 18? And so 18 might be safe. It's not the low end, it's not the high end, but it's kind of the middle ground. But what I like is she says the average pound per plant. This is amazing information to know for people like me or our brains. Like, how much is this? So if you're going to get 3 to 5 pounds per plant, that lets you know. And then it also breaks down to how many cups does that yield to per plant. And so that is 8 to 15 cups per plant. And that is 3 to 5 quarts whole per plant. So now if you're trying to do baby pickles, then you know that one plant can give you 3 to 5 quarts. And so if you're trying to say, I want 1 quart of pickles per month, then you know already you need 3 plants. But then you probably need a 4th one just in case one doesn't produce well, or some animals or bites or something like that. Anything happens just in case. So that is what I'm talking about. And that is the work that I have essentially been doing so that I can know for myself, like, okay, what should I expect? Because I was about to be really sad when I'm trying to grow. As you guys know, and I've talked to you about, I'm trying to grow, you know, 60 to 80% of our family's food here. But what is 60 to 80%? And so it's looking at something like this to give me numbers. And really, like I said, I should probably be going higher. And so for everything that I can plant extra of or more of, I will. But that's it for today's video. It may not be what you're expecting or what you were wanting, but I just, you know, I'm documenting the journey. And when I first started the channel, I did book reviews and book hauls, like of gardening books, and you know, just inside looks, inside peeks. This is an inside life of a mama, of a large family mama who wants to give her children natural, organic, healthy, nutritious foods, to just have this knowledge, you know. So I want to share this in case someone else is wondering, or if you're just, you know, if you were like me, everybody else plants 2, so I plant 2. Everybody else plants 1, so I plant 1. And then you have too much food or not enough food. So I didn't want to assume that everybody has watched my channel before, or that knows, you know, about me and my garden. So this is a blueprint of my gardens. I have 2 beds out front that I put the tomatoes on. The pots are not shown here, but I do have 2 circular pots that I think had herbs last year, but this year will house pollinator flowers. There's a gate, and then all of my beds are the exact same size. I have a long, short, 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 a long one. And then I have a long, 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 long. And so there's a gate here, and there is a gate here. So this is what I will be using. I have this one, and then I have this one, which I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's kind of like a graph paper. And so I'll be planting a lot of my stuff in here. The issue I'm having though is these beds right here and these beds right here are pretty clear. I can plant in those, but these beds right here are so overrun with crabgrass. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do, but we're just going to let the Lord handle that. A flower farm, but basically If you would let this be the shed, then take this away and take this away. And that's the flower. That's the flower farm. They're just straight rows, and there is one long row here by the flower shop. So what I plan to do is I do have some space in that. Last year I had some empty space, and the year before that I had some empty space. And so for this year, I think I'm going to use maybe 4 rows of that space as well to plant some of the extra things, so the plants and flowers will be there together. And I'll see which beds do better. But this is my garden plan. This is my garden layout for the 2023 year. I know that this video might be a little late. I know that a lot of people have already planted their gardens, but in my zone, this is the, like I said, last week was the week that we were technically supposed to start, and I just wanted to give it one more week because we have always gotten a late frost. And again, I'm working so hard and using so many resources and so much time. I just want to be safe, and I feel like I'm not hurting by waiting an extra week or 2. And I'm praying that the Most High will give me favor, and that the crops you won't even be able to tell. Sometimes you can plant things. I've even had it where I planted one thing, succession sowed it, and they both came at the same time. So it didn't even matter that I waited. If it wants to grow, it wants to grow. And I say here that all things grow with His grace. His grace is sufficient. I want to remind you that you can do a lot with a little. And I just want to encourage you that if you don't have money, if you don't have funds, if you say, well, I can't afford organic, I really want organic, but I can't afford that, it's just not in my budget. This is a way that you can afford organic for your family. You can grow your own organic fruits and vegetables. This is a way that if you have a large family and you only have a small budget, $75 for the week, $100 for the week, $50 for the week, this is a great way to make that $50 that seem like, what can I really get with this, be like, I'm rich. Because if you're growing all of your stuff and all of your beans and all of your things like that, that $50 can just cover some of the add-on, some of the, icing on the top. So I just want to encourage you, don't give up and don't give in. And just again, to remind you that you can do a lot with a little. It just takes a seed. One seed can give you such a harvest. So be encouraged. Until the next video, I love you, and blessings. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. Please give this video a thumbs up. Give me some pink hearts if it was something that you'd like to see, if it was something that was interesting, if it was something that was encouraging you. And I'll see you soon.